Well, we've been telling you guys for a while that we wanted to get our breeder rabbits up off the ground again, out of the rabbit tractors and back into cages in a more protected environment. That's what we've been working on this week. As we start to expand our rabbitry, you can see we have a lot of cages hung up already. We have most of our breeders down here, but there's definitely room for some expansion. In fact, we have plans to expand a lot of things coming up. You may be wondering where this is on our homestead. You probably never saw this before. There's a reason for that. Let's walk outside.
Come to the water where you will find peace. Take a step into the river. Get down on your knees. Come to the mountain while taking in the view. You will find that life is greater than you knew. When you go through the storm, I will hold you, keep you warm. When you stay in the night, I will shelter, I will fight, I will fight.
So we shared with you guys recently in a Q&A video that we've been feeling that we're running out of usable space at our current homestead. So over a year now we've been looking for additional land, whether to purchase or to rent, so that we can expand our homestead and fulfill some of the other dreams and goals that we have for our family.
We've worked with a realtor for the last over a year looking at different pieces of land in the area. We've actually even approached one of our neighbors about buying some adjoining land to our property, and it just seemed like every time we thought we found something that was going to work, a roadblock just got put up, and it was like God was saying, this is not the perfect piece of land for you. And in fact, we were starting to almost give up. We were starting to think that maybe the right piece of land, or maybe it just wasn't going to happen for us.
About 6 months ago, Kevin and I decided, you know, we just need to put the brakes on this. We need to wait. We need to pray and just wait for the right thing to come along.
Just like when we were still living in the Phoenix area looking for land, we really took our time, we prayed about it, we feel that God really led us to the piece of land that you guys know, that you've seen us expand on and grow things on. And so we decided maybe we needed the same approach when looking for additional land in our area.
And that leads us to a random conversation that we had with some friends in our front yard several months ago.
So several months ago, we were standing out in our front yard, just a normal day working, when a neighbor stopped by just to talk and say hi. Now, one thing you need to know is here in the Ozarks, if you live within 40 miles of someone, it's considered a neighbor. So when I say neighbor, it's not like the guy right next door. Anyway, back to the story. So we were standing out in our front yard when this neighbor stopped by, and we just started talking. And through conversation, we started to talk about a piece of land that he's been taking care of, which actually is a family piece of land.
This piece of land it's pretty nearby to us. And it has been in this family since the 1940s. Now currently, he and his sister are caretakers of the property. They're still cattle, they're still taking care of it and maintaining it, but the family is no longer living there.
So this is the property that this person grew up on. They're now in their 70s. Mom and dad are no longer on the farm. And for the most part, the property has been vacant, other than we're still raising some cattle here to keep everything grazed down and baling hay and things like that, but no, big farming going on anymore on the property.
So I asked him, what is the plan for your parents' farm? And come to find out, there is not another generation in the family that's wanting to live the farming lifestyle or the homesteading lifestyle, so there really wasn't a plan for the property.
Now this family has been watching us on YouTube for quite some time, and they've seen everything that we're doing on our current homestead, and they saw that we're raising pigs and we got a milk cow and all of our gardens, and it reminded them a lot of the way that they grew up back in the 40s, 50s, 60s here in the Ozarks.
And over the last 3 years or 4 years, they've shared stories with us about their childhood growing up living on the farm or living the homestead lifestyle, and they were just really pleased to have us kind of in the neighborhood bringing that kind of lifestyle back.
So after that random conversation in the front yard that day, we really got to thinking, and we thought, maybe this is the piece of land that God's been making us wait for. We prayed, we've been patient, we looked at other places, and it just seemed like roadblocks everywhere, and suddenly here was this opportunity in front of us that we really never even thought of.
This farm wasn't even for sale. The family hadn't even really thought about maybe it was time to sell. So Kevin and I decided to make an offer to the family to see if we could purchase this farm.
So that leads us to where we're at now. We've been working kind of a deal with the family for the last several months, and just about 10 days ago it was all finalized and we've purchased this farm. This place will give us the opportunity to grow in a lot of ways that we're just not able to on our current homestead. For those of you who don't know a lot about our current homestead, it is about 15 acres of land, but only about 3 acres of it are what I would consider usable farming land, where it's fairly flat, decent soil, and not heavily wooded.
We could clear a lot of the wooded area, but a lot of our property is on an incline or a decline, which would prevent us from clearing or really using that area.
Right. Even if we were able to get the trees out, like Sarah said, it wouldn't be an area where we could build greenhouses or put in more gardens. It's great for things like the pigs, but it's not great for animals like Hope, our dairy cow. She really is not in the ideal situation on our current farm.
So this current property, this current farm that we've just bought, will allow us to expand in areas that we have felt a little bit held back. It will allow us to be more self-sufficient for our family and really just fulfill some of those bigger goals and bigger dreams that we've had for our family.
So we're excited for you guys to share in this next part of our homesteading adventure with us. This property is going to open up so many doors. We're going to share things with you a little bit at a time as the next few months go on. We're not going to share everything about this property today. We don't even know everything about this property yet, so as we start to learn more things, we're going to be sharing with you guys. But let's take a little walk around and we'll share with you some of the awesome things that really led us to this place and are going to make this such an awesome place for us to grow our farm even more. One of the first things that I saw when we first came up to this property was this barn behind me. Now, growing up in Wisconsin where there's a lot of dairies, these types of barns are everywhere, but you don't see a whole lot of them anymore. This barn was actually built by the original owner of this property with all wood harvested from this piece of land. At one point back in the 1950s and 60s, they were milking 15 cows in this barn, and it's still all set up inside with some work to be done to be able to milk cows in that barn. It's like a piece of history just standing here that we're so excited to be able to resurrect. On the side of the barn is where we were originally in this video, where we're going to be building our new rabbitry. We're excited to have this extra space and a nice covered area to be able to protect the rabbits.
This property is going to be so perfect for Hope and maybe a friend, definitely her calf, but maybe another milk cow. There's access to water, there's a small pond here, and just plenty of area for her to graze. There is pasture for these cows. Now there is a herd of cattle here. The previous owners have their family's herd of beef cattle still here on the property, and we are allowing them to continue using this through the fall until it's time for them to get them to the market. This place has enough pasture for the cattle to graze all summer, but also has a hay field so that we can bale hay for the winter.
One thing that we're really excited about on this new piece of land is the ability to grow enough grass so that we no longer have to pay for hay. Right now, we buy a lot of hay for the homestead, for all of our animals, but mostly for our milk cow Hope. And if we were going to get another cow, we'd have to pay for even more hay. But with this new piece of land, there's a big enough hay field that it will be able to provide all of the hay that we need. Now we're lucky that there is another person in this area that actually bales the hay and has been baling the hay on this piece of land for a long time. And he does it on what's called the halves, which means he gets to keep half the hay and we get to keep half the hay. And we think half the hay will be enough to get us through for the entire winter for the animals that we'll have. But one of the most exciting parts about that is this barn right behind me. This is a hay barn that can hold about 70 or maybe even a little more of the big round bales of hay so that they'll be out of the weather and not getting ruined during the summer months. Right now we don't have a place like that. We need to leave our hay sit outside and it really wastes a ton of hay. Every time we open up a bale to give to Hope, we need to peel off a big outside layer of hay and just basically throw it away, which is really just throwing money down the drain. So by having this nice barn to be able to store the hay in, we'll be able to not only have enough for us, but hopefully we'll be able to bale enough to even have some to sell so that we can provide others with hay as well. Now we're sure you guys are going to have a lot of questions about this new part of our homestead. The truth is, we don't have all the answers just yet, but we're excited to share with you as we figure things out and how this new part of our homestead is going to fit in with everything else.
Here's what we do know. We love our current homestead. We put a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and time into that homestead, so we won't be giving up what we do there because we have this place here. This will offer us an opportunity to expand in areas that we've dreamed of, but that we couldn't do at our other place.
We're really looking at this place as an extension of our current homestead, not to replace all the things we've already done, but to expand upon them and to be able to move into even more and bigger things.
There are things you'll see us move up here. There are some animals we'll move up here, but there are some things that we will continue doing at our original homestead.
And there are things that we're going to do in both places, like chickens. We plan on having a flock of chickens at our homestead where we live, and we plan on having a flock of chickens here as well.
And you know that we've had some trouble with the ducks getting out into the road. Well, now we can move those ducks here where they won't have an opportunity to get into the road.
Over the last few months, while we've been working out the deal on this place and determining whether or not we were going to be able to purchase it, we've just been dreaming and dreaming about all the things that we'll be able to do down here. We're excited for you guys to come along as some of those dreams start to come true, and we're just so thankful that this opportunity has presented itself to us.
So you guys, make sure you stick around to experience all of this with us. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button below so that you're notified when we put out our new videos. And the best way that you can help us and the best way you can share about what we're doing is to share our videos on all of your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead and sharing in this awesome experience. Until next time, take care and God bless.
God bless.